What? You've never seen Trollhunters? What have you been doing for the past 3 years? It's on Netflix, you know. Everyone has Netflix. Hello everyone, I am DoctorHero. If you are new to this channel and you want to see more cartoon videos, like and subscribe and click that bell icon for notifications. Trollhunters is, in my opinion, the best show of all time. It has an amazing story, it is well paced, the animation is phenomenal for a CG animated series, it is very funny, all the characters are likable. Everything about this series I am thoroughly impressed with. I am so sad that this show is so underrated. If you have Netflix, which you do, you have no reason not to watch this series. Unless you're binge watching Stranger Things 3, which, in that case, do that first. That's priority number 1. What are the best episodes of Trollhunters? Honestly, it is really hard to think of what could be the best episode because there are so many good ones, but I managed to find 10 episodes that are the absolute best. Before I go into the list, I have to give a spoiler warning. If you have not watched the series, don't watch this video any further. Okay, number 10. Season 2, Episode 7, Hero with 1,000 Faces. This definitely is the biggest filler episode because it doesn't add anything new to the overall story, except for the scenes with Gunmar. The reason why I love this episode is how funny it is. Seeing Jim being separated into all of his different personality traits makes for a hilarious episode. I love that line where Sad Jim is like, "They overcharged you on your cable bill?" Excellent performance by Anton Yelchin for this episode. May he rest in peace, but he did an excellent job voicing Jim up until season 3 where they changed to Emil Hirsch. What makes this episode work is that it's a filler episode right after a bunch of stuff happened in the Darklands and then trying to save Chomsky from a bunch of goblins. This episode was relief from that drama and it worked. Number 9, season 1, episode 26, Something Rotten This Way Comes. I simply had to put a season finale on this list. This is an amazing final episode of the season. It has great action, all the Trollhunters work together, which is always awesome, and Blinky drives a human automobile for the first time. This episode gets a lot of things right. It's very fun, and it's set in Troll Market, which is a very colorful place. It looks beautiful visually, and this is the first time we see an entire episode set in Hearthstone Troll Market. Angor Rot is intimidating as always, and there's a sense of danger when he is around. Even in It's About Time, when time itself is stopped in its tracks, Angor looked like he was just gonna attack Jim, like Arg dies, which is extremely sad. He comes back in the second season, but it was still really sad. Jim, Toby, and Claire work together to kill Angor Rot. Then Jim decides to go to the Darklands alone. He puts his new Eclipse armor on and then just goes into the Darklands. It made me want to keep watching, that's for sure. I had to wait a whole year for the next season. Number 8, season 2, episode 9, Creep Slayers. What a surprise of an episode. The bully character and the nerd character become friends? That's not something that happens in TV. At least not that I've heard of. This episode is basically a flashback episode set at the same time of the previous episode, Just Add Water. Just Add Water was focused on Jim, Claire, and Toby. Creep Slayers is focused on Steve and Eli. Creep Slayers is very funny, with Steve being like, "I don't give a flip," and that one scene where Steve is like, "Something happened in the bathroom," and Eli's just like, "Isn't this something you should keep to yourself?" And then they just keep being funny until the credits roll. No, until after the credits roll. They're even funny during the credits. It's a great episode. Number 7, season 2, episode 11, Unbecoming. I'll say this right away. The concept of this episode isn't very original, but the content inside that concept is amazing. Seeing what could have happened if Jim never picked up the amulet is very interesting. Humanity wouldn't even survive through the first 13 episode arc. This solidifies the idea that teamwork makes the dream work. Again, amazing performance by Anton Yelchin. He really gives it his all in this episode. That scene with Jim holding the broken amulet in his hands and trying to get it to work is the most emotional scene of the show. This is a fantastic episode. Even though it doesn't contribute much to the actual story, it is still amazing. Number 6, season 1, episode 12, Claire and Present Danger. What really impressed me about this episode is that epic scene where Jim gets his amulet like freaking Mjolnir and just kills all the goblins. The music for that scene was so great that they used it again in another episode. I don't know what else to talk about. It's just a really solid episode. Number 5, Season 3, Episode 4, So I'm Dating a Sorceress. That scene where Claire gets possessed is one of the most creepy and unsettling scenes of the show. By far one of the scariest episodes because of that scene. I think the scariest episode is actually Bad Coffee. The episode literally before this one. Season 3 just had so many good episodes. That's why it's my favorite. I also really like when Jim is like, Claire, if you're seeing this, I did not mess up your house again. Overall, this is both a funny and scary episode with both aspects working together to make something great. Number 4, Season 1, Episode 13, The Battle of Two Bridges. Amazing final episode of the first arc. If you don't know, Trollhunters is organized into 13 episode arcs, and this is the last episode of the first arc. This episode is extremely action-packed. A lot of stuff happens. Killerhead Bridge actually opens, but they managed to destroy it before Gunmar came out. At the beginning of the fight, I love the fact that there's rock music playing in the background. Really gets me pumped up. Toby has a good taste of music. This fight actually has the Trollhunters fight all the bad guys. Bular, Nomura, and Strickler are all in this fight, and going back to Unbecoming, Drawl worked alone as a Trollhunter. Therefore, he wasn't enough to stop the Gum-Gums. Great ending episode to a great first arc. Number 3, Season 2, Episode 13, In the Hall of the Gum-Gum King. Wow. This is phenomenal. There's a reason why the Ultimate Portal scene is the most viewed Trollhunters video on YouTube. The Ultimate Portal scene is the best scene in the entire show. I love rewatching it and getting chills every time. I can't stop talking about how beautiful this scene is. The music is phenomenal. They reused the music from Claire and Present Danger, and it's even better in this episode. And the visuals, holy trolls of visuals. It looks so beautiful. The build-up and the epicness. It's so good. Claire gets a lot of depth from this scene alone. This scene shows that Claire is willing to sacrifice her life and her soul to save her friends and the rest of Troll Market. Then the Trollhunters help Claire to make that portal happen. It sort of resembles that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's definitely not the same. The Ultimate Portal scene is ultimate. It is so powerful in meaning, visuals, and music. In terms of the rest of the episode, it was really all building up to that scene, that sacrifice. I also love the inclusion of the Creep Slayers actually helping the Creepers. And the cliffhanger was also good. I had many questions running through my head like, what's gonna happen now that Jim is gonna get guidance? What's happening with Claire and her weirdness? Such a good episode. Number 2, Season 3, Episode 12, The Eternal Night, Part 1. An amazing first part to a great ending. I love that Aja and Krell are included in this episode, and as seen in 3 Below, they have their own battle. At this point, Jim is a troll, which I am personally fine with. It makes him look tougher and stronger. The Eternal Night makes the world very orange, which is a very apocalyptic color. It sort of reminds me of Weird Mageddon from Gravity Falls. Very apocalyptic looking. Once the fight starts, there's this awesome scene where all the Trollhunters fight, and the camera follows them in this one big shot. It looks awesome. The Creep Slayers come back, slaying some creeps, which is great. The Creep Slayers, unfortunately, did not have much screen time in the series, but they did make up for it in 3 Below. I love the ending where Jim starts to fight both Gunmar and Angor at the same time. It is an excellent cliffhanger. Overall, The Eternal Night Part 1 is a fantastic episode, filled with action and excitement. Before I go into number 1, I want to give an honorable mention. Season 3, Episode 10, A House Divided. The reason why I didn't put this on the list is because of Merlin. He's kind of a jerk in this episode, and he manipulates the situation that Jim is in. But the scene of Jim deciding to become a troll is amazing. The entire time I watched this, I was like, no, don't do it! But it was so powerful. His friends banging on the door, shouting at him not to do it, is heartbreaking. But he knows in his heart that he has to do it to save everyone. Once the episode was done, I was speechless. I had no words. It was so good. Number 1, I'm sure you're not surprised with this pick. Season 3, Episode 5, The Exorcism of Claire Nunez. This episode is a masterpiece. My eyes were on the screen the entire time. There was no dull moment, and each scene had meaning to it. The Shadow Realm is very creative. It almost operates like the Upside Down, with Claire's house being the same, but dark, and with no electricity, and with dust in the air. The TV in that house shows memories of Claire being afraid. It represents that fear is the emotion that Claire uses for her staff, instead of anger. The battle between Claire and Morgana is very intense. Claire was able to outwitch a witch, as Toby puts it. It was awesome. I also love the plot of Strickler being tempted by Morgana. She almost makes him let go of the Shadow Staff completely. This episode is a masterpiece because it has everything I want in a Trollhunters episode. It is epic, funny, action-packed, and meaningful. Truly the best episode from Trollhunters. There's my list of the best Trollhunters episodes. Trollhunters is a show that I feel is way ahead of its time. There's no other animated series that has this much continuity, except for maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender. The entire show feels like a movie. It is so good, and I am really excited for what will happen in the rest of the Tales of Arcadia trilogy. Three Below Season 2 is just around the corner as of recording this video. It's probably out by the time this video uploads. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. This is the longest video I've ever made, and it took me a long time to make, so I hope you enjoyed. Click here to subscribe, and click here to watch my previous video. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye! Overall, this is both a funny and scary episode with oh god.